much. Thank you so much, Hosa, and thank you all so much for being here. As I mentioned, I am an artist, and I'm grateful to be speaking today because I've given myself permission this year to paint less and to post less. And so this is a way for me to still connect with my creativity while I'm on a painting hiatus. I want to start with sharing my intent for our time together. I hope to create a safe space. I'm going to be vulnerable, and maybe I will say something that resonates with you, but maybe I'll say nothing that you need to hear at all. And that is okay, because this is up to you to curate your own experience and decide what you want to take from today, from this keynote, and also from your time at Spectra. I want to read, Bruce Lee had a core mandate for his life, and I want to make sure I read it correctly. He said to research your own experience, accept what is useful, and then add what is essentially your own. So net, take what is helpful to you, but maybe you are here because someone needs to hear a comment that you're going to make. Maybe they need to feel seen, and you smiled at them or you said hello. You never know the difference that you can make. We're going to start with aligning on the definition for grounding. So when I'm talking about being grounded, we're all on the same page. So when I think about being grounded, I am talking about connecting to self. It is giving yourself permission to say no, full stop, end of story. It is about giving yourself consent to be happy, permission to set boundaries and to honor them. Permission to spend your time in a way that fills you up, it lights you up. How often are we doing things because we think we should be doing it, or because our family, society is the latest TikTok trend, or social, I don't even know. I have Instagram, I only post for my art, and if I didn't have to, I wouldn't be on it, because it's just not helpful for me. Facebook was great when it came out in the beginning. It was only for college students. I remember that, that was fun. But I just don't have time. I don't want to be sucked down the rabbit hole, and it's so easy to do that. So now that we're aligned on what it means to be grounded, we are going to start with a grounding meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes if that feels good for you, or bow your head. And we're going to take some time to really recenter to ourselves. All right. Imagine standing in a beautiful, tranquil forest, surrounded by tall, majestic trees. Feel the warmth of the sun filtering through the leafy branches above, the soft, mossy ground beneath your feet, and the gentle breeze rustling through the leaves around you. Take a moment to connect with the serene environment, appreciating the beauty, wisdom, and strength of the trees surrounding you. As you stand in the forest, envision powerful roots extending from the soles of your feet into the earth below. These roots symbolize your connection to Mother Earth, anchoring you to her energy and providing stability. Feel the roots growing more profound and broader with each breath you take, reaching out in all directions and creating an extensive root system that connects you to the surrounding earth. Imagine drawing energy from the earth through your roots, feeling it rise through your feet and into your entire body. Visualize this earth energy filling you with groundedness, strength, and resilience like the trees surrounding you. As you continue to breathe deeply, picture your body as the trunk of a tree, and your arms and head as its branches. Visualize yourself growing taller and stronger with each breath, reaching for the sky while remaining firmly rooted in the earth. Feel the energy of the earth and the wisdom of the trees combining within you, creating a powerful sense of balance and inner peace. take a few moments to focus on the sensations within your body, noticing any areas where you may be holding tension or stress. And then, as you exhale, imagine releasing this tension into the earth through the roots extending from the bottoms of your feet. With each inhale, draw in the nurturing and grounding energy of the earth and the trees, replenishing your body and spirit. When you feel ready, slowly withdraw your awareness from the visualization, returning your focus to the sensations of your breath. Next, gently wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing your awareness back to your physical body and the present moment. Finally, open your eyes, taking a moment to express gratitude for the grounding experience you've just had. Take a breath. You may have noticed that there was a journal on your chair with a pen. I invite you to open it up. We're going to do a 3.5-minute little journaling exercise with the song Yes and playing in the background. You've already heard it, and the intro music, but you get to hear it again. And you can follow this prompt and write out some thoughts as the song plays, or you can look at the lyrics. It doesn't really matter what you do as long as you are doing something that is centering for you. A moment to finish your final thought. I love that. One, I just love Ariana Grande, but I love the name of the song, and I love the lyrical content. And it reminds me of the principle from improv of Yes and, where regardless of whatever ridiculous, outlandish situation is before you, you have consented saying, yes, I'm going to accept the reality right now, and this is what I'm going to add to the scene. And in life, it's really just one big improv sketch, where there's so many things that are coming at us. We don't always like them. That's not the point. We can either hide from what's happening, we can go into denial, or we can accept it. Doesn't mean we agree and like it. It just means, okay, this is happening, and it will not own me. It will not define me. It's a piece of my story, and this is how I'm going to move through it. This is the support that I need to get through, because the only way is through. Now, I want to show you 2 photos, and we'll go to the next slide. So cute. Kat Palmer took the 2 photos you want to see, and I want to invite 1 or 2 people to respond to this prompt. Based on this photo, how would you describe me? Joyful. Hi, I'm an introvert, but that's cute. I love it. Confident. Thank you. All right, next photo, please. What assumptions might one draw about my life based on this photo? You're super cool. Thank you. I think so. Professional. Oh, thanks. Someone tell my brother that. Anyone else?
Open to the world.
Open to the world. Oh, thank you. I'm going to write these on my journal.
Comfortable in self.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, what you don't see in those photos is that a week before they were taken, I saw my grandma for probably the last time. She's on her way to the grave. She's still alive, but I haven't seen her in 10 or so years. And I happened to be in Texas already, and I was like, oh, existential crisis. Should I go down and visit her in the hospital, or should I not? How will I feel? And I really had to sit with that, and I decided to go. And I knew 3 things would happen, as always. So 1, she's going to tell me I'm fat. I was like, thanks, Grandma, since I was younger. And fun fact, I did have to buy new jeans and shorts before my trip to Texas. It was going to be hot. And none of my clothes fit right now. I was working with a trainer, so part of that is muscle, but also my nutrition was not 100%, so it's a mixed bag. And so I knew that could be very triggering for me, and I was like, okay, she's gonna tell me I'm back, first thing, cool. She's gonna ask too about my mom and my brother, and they prefer that I keep their name out of my mouth when I'm talking to my dad's side of the family. So it's always this dance of being respectful and like, what can I say? Because I don't want to say, hey, they don't want me to talk about you, and that's a conversation that no one can truly have. And so the third thing is I knew I would see my dad most likely, and some aunts and uncles, maybe some cousins, all people I haven't seen in years. And so I had to figure out, these things are happening. This is I'm gonna say yes to this. And how do I want to show up? How do I want my grandma to feel? Because I may not go to her funeral, we'll see. And this could be the last time. This probably is the last time that I will see her living. How do I want to feel in that exchange? How do I want her to feel? And I was like, I want her to feel happy. I want them to experience me. I want to be fun. I'm very sarcastic. I want her to joke around. I want to feel fine. And so that was my intention going into the hospital, and of course she did ask me. She told me like, hey, like you're looking to put on weight, and I was like, oh, it's a muscle, some of it. You know, I just made like a joke of it, and I was just like parry some of the things and just shut some things down. And there were things like, my brother published a book as well, and I was like, oh, this is a thing I can tell you about. You know, here's the Instagram, here's what he's doing, this is a safe space. And then it's like, oh, your mom, she could have like come up, and I was like, oh, next topic. That's so funny. Like, let's not pretend like y'all are all friends, because that's not true, but that's the games that we like to play. And I was so proud of myself because I was able to come at that experience from a very healed place. I was able to observe the dynamics of my family and also be hit with grief. Like a few days later when I'm back home, of, oh my gosh, my aunts, like the way that they connect with each other. That would be so, my brother's name is Don. I was like, he's so sarcastic like my Aunt Cheryl. Like they would be riffing on, it would be so entertaining. You know, we could have a game night, we could do all these things, and just seeing what could have been and knowing that that's not gonna happen. They're not gonna come visit. I'm not gonna go home for a 5-minute conversation in Houston. I'm from Dallas, so it's a 4-hour drive once I fly to visit my mom and best friend. Like it's a whole journey. But that's okay. Like that is my situation, and I'm okay with it. Like life is not always what we want. Our families are complicated. People are complicated, but we get to choose how we show up. We get to have a boundary. Like I believe that we don't owe people anything. Like you don't owe your family that visit for Thanksgiving. If it's not safe for you, set a boundary, have a conversation. How they choose to respond, that's on them, but you have to approach it from a healing space and do what's best for you, because both parties have to consent to be in a healthy relationship with one another, and that's not always the case. And I've had that conversation with my mom, with my brother, and within this, I mean, how many years, but over several years, it's gotten so much better and so great. And that's what I hope all of you can take away, is doing what you need to do for yourself, even if it hurts in the moment, or if the other person feels hurt. Like, we have one life. And we can't let other people, we can't give away our peace. And other people can grow as we set boundaries. They can learn from us holding space for us, or it starts with us. Can we go to the next slide, please? This painting is called Oceans, and I bought a condo a couple years ago, and this was the first painting that I painted for myself. I was always painting for everyone else. Like, I just need something for me. And I had the perfect idea of a color palette. This is not it. I wanted earth tones. I need to feel grounded, because I'm always on the go. To know me is to know I'm always busy. I'm always unintentionally spreading myself too thin and stressing out. And I'll tell friends, hey, like I have this going on, like, oh, like, that sounds like a lot. That sounds stressful. Are you stressed? I was like, no, I feel, actually, I'm so stressed right now. And I never know until someone else points it out because I'm just so okay, next thing, let's focus. Because life is so short. I'm like, I just want to do all the things. What is time? And I need people around me to help ground me. Because I so easily become untethered by all of the things and I lose perspective. Now back to this painting. So I've been reading a book by Layla Delia called Vibrate Higher Daily, and she talks about 5 metaphorical terrains that we go through on our way to transforming our lives and vibrating higher daily. And one of those is oceans. And she talks about how the ocean represents the vastness of our energy and our emotions. Like, that's perfect. And as soon as I was done painting, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is what your name is, oceans. And then I went back to the book, I was like, oh yeah, like I was just reading about that. That's so funny that the first thing I paint for my own first home is a piece all about grounding in my energy and emotions. And I also love San Diego and the beaches, and I can't swim. So I don't love the beach for the swimming. I love it just because it's so vast and so powerful, and I love listening to the sound of the ocean and the breeze and the birds. It's very grounding for me, and that's what this painting does as well. It centers me, and I need that so much in my life. And when I paint, especially abstract, I never know how it's going to end up, so it's all just about being in flow, listening to music. What does the canvas swan? Everything goes through an ugly phase, and then it becomes a beautiful swan. And we have to invite that flow into our lives and be like water, as Bruce Lee talks about. And I wasn't always a painter. So I started painting in 2020 because, like all of us, we were stuck in the house with nothing to do. And I started buying paintings just to redecorate, like so many people. You're either baking bread, redecorating, or doing something else. And I was, I don't know if I'm gonna lose my job. Like, the economy's crazy. Maybe I should stop buying art. And I'll just make something, it's fine. And the first things I made, they were not cute. They were mediocre, but I was so proud of myself. And I would show my coworkers on like, hey, this is what I did over the weekend. Like, oh, cool. And then at one point that, oh, cool, turned into, oh, that's really cool. Like, you did that? I was like, yeah, just, over the weekend, just on my kitchen table, just painting. And like, oh, I would paint this in my home. Like, you could sell. I was like, oh, well, let me figure this out. And so I started selling my art. I got a website. I did all these things. I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like Elle Woods. Like it's hard. I was like, oh, I had no idea. I was like, yeah, like let me just apply this gallery and get in. That's fine. And I just had no conception of like the barriers, and there were fewer for me at that point. And having this as a side hustle was great in 2020. It was great in 2021. Things weren't fully open. In 2022, that's when it became a bit of a challenge. I was like, I am so stressed right now. I work full-time in corporate America. I can't do these markets every weekend. I can't like package this art, like do all these prints. Like it's just so much. I felt so much pressure and stress. And I was working with a business coach, and by the end I was like, you know what, Keishawn? I was like, I don't have to paint. I could shut down my website. It's like I have like all this traffic coming, but also like, what if I don't post anymore? Like, what if I just stop painting? I was like, am I still an artist? Am I still creative? It's like, what do I needed to give myself permission that I can step away? Like, maybe someone cares on my post, but like, really, like, just text me or call me if you know me in real life. But I needed that so badly because I'd see my friends who were full-time creatives, like, oh my gosh, like, so-and-so just sold her painting for like $5,000. I was like, that's amazing. Or she has these opportunities. I'm comparing myself to the people I know. I'm so happy for them. I'm like, oh, that's where I want to be. I would love for this to be a secondary stream of income. That'd be so lovely. That's not my reality. And it's not healthy for me to compare to people who do this all day, every day. This is on the side, on top of a full-time job, on top of like doing all these things, going to concerts, so I had to really get real, like, where's this pressure coming from? This idea that I have to make this profit. When I talk to them, like, oh, you have a business. Like, well, it's like a business. It's not like I pay taxes on it. It's a business that way. But I don't have marketing. I don't have SEO. I don't have all of these things that a capital B business does. Like, I don't want to do that myself at all. I was like, I don't have money for that because my money is earmarked for healthier groceries, for my Peloton, for a concert, for trips. Like, it's going other places. And I had to go back to my original intent and ground myself. Okay, when I started painting, my goal was simply, I will put some money into this, and that needs to pay for itself. Like, I don't want, if I break even, that's all I need. Like, this is just like a fun thing. I never intended it to be anything of just painting in my kitchen, on the floor by myself, showing random people. Like, that's all it was. And it became something bigger. And sometimes our dreams can grow so massive. It's so fun. It's such a wild ride. I love it. But I have to come back to my intent and reground. What does art look like for Andrea, not for this friend or that person? Like, it's okay that my journey is different. It doesn't have to look the same. My art is still valid. My creativity is still valid. I'm no less talented if I never sell another piece of art. That's okay. Not every side hustle needs to, or not every passion needs to be a side hustle. It is okay to do something just because you like it. That is enough. And I say that's a really high form of self-care and self-love. And acceptance of doing something just because you want to, not because of what anyone else thinks or what you think it should be. I couldn't paint like I paint now until I let go of what I thought art needed to look like. I stopped trying to create an image in my head or an image that I saw. And I just let go and I painted. I don't let go a lot. I have to hold on and pretend that control is a real thing. I'm going to say that again. It's okay to do something just because you like it. That is enough. Your passion can be your passion. It doesn't need to turn tricks for you. It doesn't need to bring in dollars. Don't pimp out every passion. Like, you don't have to do that. You can if you want. But make sure it's something that you want to do. And it looks the way that you want and how you need it to. If we go to the next slide, please. So last December, a friend unwittingly helped me embody one of my dreams. When I was, I don't know, we'll say 15. We'll just go with 15. When I was 15, in the 90s, I think, whatever that was, I was like, oh yeah, I always saw on TV of someone singing and playing guitar in a coffee shop. That looks so cool, like, that'd be fun. And I started doing guitar lessons, like, 10, 15 years later. But performing in front of people, I was like, well, that's very scary. Nope. I forgot about my dream until she said, hey, I'm gonna do Slate Lake City. They've been asking me to apply. It's the adult version of rock camp where you're in a band and learn an instrument and you perform together. And I was like, she's like, oh yeah, if you should sign up. If you sign up, then I'll sign up. I was like, sure, okay, yeah. I didn't think about it. If I had been in my right mind, I would have been like, maybe not. Sounds a little intimidating. I'm good. But I said yes. And she's like, oh shoot, now I have to do it too. And she's in like 2 bands, so really, here we are. And so we did this together, and I was able to get on stage and to perform guitar and to sing and step into that dream. And I have now written a full song all by myself. I feel so proud. And I performed it twice. And it doesn't even, I don't need to be like the next, I was gonna say Britney Spears, but that's where my mind goes. Like Britney, like old school Britney. Or whoever is like, I'm not like a huge fan of Billie Eilish, but sorry. But like Billie Eilish. That's too big. Billie's big too, but anyway. I don't need to be famous. I just want to perform a little bit and just practice this dream and honor my inner child. Like, that is the purpose. That is enough. I don't ever have to write another song again. Like, I want to because it scares me. It's challenging. So I'll keep doing that and practicing and maybe recording, but there's no pressure. adventure. Like the point was to step into the dream, to say, yes, this scares me, yes, this is something that I've wanted and I haven't allowed myself to fully want, and I'm going to show up. So before we close, you notice, well, you may not notice because y'all did not heed Ray's invitation. The chairs are in like groups of 4-ish, but we'd like you to kind of turn around. I'll give you 5 or so minutes to discuss and share what grounding feels like to you.
Hi, y'all.
I want to remind you that whatever terrain you're traveling through, whatever season is happening in your life, to remember your power, to remember to recenter, and to meet the moment with yes and. I'm going to leave you with this last question on the slide. I'm going to read it as well. How will you choose to show up during your time at Spectra? And I also want you to think about life, like how will you choose to show up for the moments in your life? You can reset every hour on the hour if you need to, but the choice is always yours. And it starts with saying yes to what's happening. I acknowledge this, and this is what I choose to do. This is how I choose to move through it. There's some resources from my keynote on the slide. I mentioned the books that I referenced, or the inform my talk, or the playlist. Thank you so much for your time.